Can you hear me okay? Thank you all for coming out here today. This is we're in Bowley's Quarters. This is the Carroll Island power plant that got torn down about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And when that happened, it took away a few things. One, it took away the power for Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Hartford County, and one other county. It took away a lot of our capacity for electric. The Green New Deal doesn't work. People think that in the Democrat Party that the Green New Deal is the thing and that it can be replaced. There we go. Are you guys back there? Yeah. You all right? Okay. The Green New Deal is a big failure. It's not going to work. It doesn't work, and we have to redo and rejigger the entire situation so that we're not getting killed on these electric bills. This back here was a huge power plant, and it's on YouTube. For those of you who haven't seen it, you can just go on YouTube and see it get torn down or blown up and taken down. But this used to be a staple in the community where if you're out on a boat, you used the power plant to get you back to shore because it was a landmark. It was a fishing hole for me when I was a kid. I was here all the time on weekends because fishing was fantastic. But it's the big power source part of this is really what's missing here. To take this down and take down the other plants, which these plants that have been taken down, Gould, Chalk Point, Dickerson, Warrior Run, and there's another one in Morgantown Generation Committee, or yeah, I'm losing my lips are here. Morgantown Generation in Charles County are going to be taken down. And what this has done is that Westmore is doing this only because this fits the narrative for the Democrats. This is what they want to do. I don't believe that he really wants to do it, but he's doing what they tell him to do because he's running for president. Solar and windmills are not going to work. I was asked the other day at a function, what would you do about the turbines? I said, out in the ocean off of Ocean City. I said, I'd make them into fishing reefs. They don't generate enough power to really replace all the places that have been torn down. But this being torn down here at Carroll Island, which generated a lot of electricity, you see what it is now, it's just a desolate place. This is never going to be replaced by solar or by any solar or any windmills. I'm thinking that we have to do better, and we have to reopen the plants that have been not torn down and just get them open again and re-energize them. The 4 that I just mentioned, we should do that. We should build more fossil fuel plants. We have a lot of fossil fuels here that burn a lot easier and cleaner than the old days. The natural gas, which we have in abundance, and coal, which we have in abundance, is readily available, and we could do it, and we could get the ratepayers a little bit of relief by starting these all again. The ratepayers right now are struggling big time, and we need to get these open. The other thing is, and I believe this ought to be started down, I've said this many, many times, nuclear has to be on the table and not talked about in the legislature. Somebody in the executive branch needs to start this now. We have to start it now. We have 9 or 10 months until the election, and this is going to languish for that period of time, and we can't do this. This has to start now. But again, the demolition of these plants, these fossil fuel plants, fits the narrative for the Democrats, and that's what they've done. And the effect is the effect that we have here is going to be made even worse because we're going to have the electrification of your home furnaces, your hot water heaters, your stoves in your kitchen to be converted to electric. This is what the narrative that Governor Moore wants. If you're going to have a lawnmower, you're going to have an electric lawnmower. Leaf blower, same thing. So where's the electric going to come from if you're tearing all these places down? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to do this. The supplies that we have from PJM have gone up 40%. Everybody is now sitting in their homes, and I know all of you here today and all the people around the state of Maryland are struggling with their houses being colder because you've turned your thermostats down. That's what's happened here. And that's not going to change. That's not going to change anytime soon, not with this governor. The electric supply, which is really controlled by PJM and the gas and electric company, which my father was, he worked for gas and electric company. He was a lineman for the gas, BG&E. It was a utility. Now it's a trading desk. It's not the same as it used to be. They don't care. They simply don't care. They're there to make money and at our expense and being cold in your house. People are worried now about whether or not they're going to be able to get, any kind of food or different things that they've had that were typical before. Medications, all those things are just now are in the front of your brain, not in the back of your brain, because you don't know if you have enough money to keep your house warm. So it used to be that when I started campaigning, I've been doing this since August 20th. When this started, I used to think that safety was the overarching issue, and that was a large percentage of the population. Now, 100% of the population is concerned about the cost of electric because they can't do it. It's like another mortgage payment. There are people that I've talked to here, and we're going to have some other people that we're talking to that are going to tell us what they've done or what they have and how this has increased to the point where they just can't afford to live here in the state anymore. This is a major problem, and it's not going to get any better. Again, we need to do what I said. Reopen the ones that have been closed, build new ones, new fossil fuel ones, and start the nuclear now. We can't wait. Governor Moore's answer is to graciously give us all $40 per household. What is that? $40, that's an insult to our intelligence. Then he starts blaming the PSC, the Public Service Commission. That is, all those people, all of them on that commission are appointed by him. So I believe that we need to get this done now. We can't talk about it, and we have a long time before the election. It's going to come up pretty quick, but at the same time, we don't have the time to wait to get this started because people are struggling to get this done. And I'll just close with this. Back in the 70s, I think it was Time magazine, somebody can look it up. Time magazine had an article that we're all going to freeze to death. There was going to be a global freezing of the whole world. Everything was going to freeze. Water was going to rise now because of global warming. I live on the water. I live, as a crow flies, about a mile and a half from here. Whoa. I have been here all my life on the water. I have a farm down on the Eastern Shore, and it hasn't gone up an inch. I've been there 33 years down on the Eastern Shore. I've been here for 16 years. I lived on the water here, and it's not going up. I don't know. I defy anybody to tell me that it has because I live here. So all this is just ridiculous because this is the narrative that the Democrats want, and I believe that this should stop. And it could stop by electing me to be the governor of the state of Maryland as a Republican, and if I am going to be the governor, help is on the way. Thank you. Okay. Here. You have any questions for me?
Which power plants do you think need to remain open, and for how long would you do this for?
I have the list of them. There's 4 of them. Gould, which is over Peninsula, right off of 95, Chalk Point, Dickerson, and Warriors Run, which is out in Western Maryland. And I don't know where that is. I've not seen it. The other ones I've seen, and we have Brandon Shores is over that's scheduled to be torn down 2029. And if that gets torn down, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where we're going to be able to replace this. I have some of my staff has got together what it would cost, or how many solar panels you'd have to have. It's like 1.4 million solar panels to replace this. Is that the right number? Correct. Yeah. So, how do you do that? Solar panels are going to go all over the place, and they want to put them on. I've had people want to put them on my farm. What happens if you put them on my farm? I can make a lot more money, not raising soybeans and corn. You put those solar panels on the farm, you take away the agrarian society that we have here, which Maryland is. It's a beautiful state. And you put those panels there, what happens to the ground underneath over a period of time? What's it cost to get them together? What kind of fossil fuel cost do you have to get the panels made to put there on the property? To me, it's just self-defeating. We have a lot of people that have been tempted to do this, but I'm going to try to talk people out of that.
What do you say to voters who have environmental concerns, and they acknowledge, in the short term, fossil fuels are good for lowering energy costs now, but in the long term, they worry about all of the emissions and health.
Well, I'll just go back to the previous press conference I had, which was at the Maryland Vehicle Administration on Eastern Avenue. 1984 was the benchmark for VEIP, the vehicle emissions. 90 to 98% of the emissions that we had that were creating a lot of the pollution has been eliminated. So I'm the person that would close VEIP. I had to get my car there yesterday, literally yesterday. It was a waste of time. It was clear. It got clean. It cost, what it cost, 40 bucks? 30 bucks, excuse me, $30 for what? It's just a money grab. I would stop it. I am not a believer that our pollution is worse today. I'm just not.
I guess my last question would just be, if these plants are already scheduled for closures, and they're preparing for that, keeping them open might be costly too. So it would be a difficult situation going in. Are there any immediate plans that you have in place for lowering energy bills?
Well, when we did a study on this, I was told that it's going to be very expensive to keep them, to reopen the ones that have been closed. And I said, how expensive would it be not to? What if you don't do it? What's the cost? I believe that has to be researched and done now. People say, what are your solutions, Hale? What do you want to do? I believe that we have to look into this and do it now, because I don't think we can afford not to. I think it's going to be more expensive to keep them closed, not build new ones, than it is to keep them shuttered. All right, thank you for coming.
Good morning. Good